Joe Biden, like I mentioned, he's wanting to send money to Israel, which Israel doesn't need our money. They do need our military support. I would go that far, but they don't need our money. They're filthy rich. Ukraine doesn't most definitely don't need our money. They don't need any military assistance from us either. All they need from us is humanitarian aid. That's it. That's it. You know, kind of like they say what they're going to do with Iran. Oh, you get the $6.6 million for humanitarian aid. Yeah, whatever. If the United States of America, and I've said this so many times, never got involved with Ukraine, the war would have been over a long time ago and more lives would have been spared. But the Democrats here in the United States of America, they don't care about life. They want more death on the planet. They are the party of death. They want more people dead on the planet. They're part of this population control that they're implementing. What do you think they were doing with the whole COVID thing? That was part of population control. It didn't kill enough people. Let's start a war. Let's start World War III. That's part of the reason why wars start, to help the population. We got to bring down the population. And now they're wanting to push more money into Ukraine. And they say, oh, we're doing it to help Israel. So now we can get the MAGA Republicans that support Israel to go along with us supporting Ukraine by sending them money. I'm saying don't send any money to anybody. We're already hurting in the United States of America. We need to take care of our southern borders. Now, military aid, okay. But money, all this other stuff that they're sending to them, stop it. We have our own problems in America. We can't expect to help someone else's home when you can't take care of your own. Imagine like this. Imagine you and your neighbor. You have a flood. Your house flood. The pipes burst in your house, and just so happened the pipe burst in your neighbor's house. What are you going to do? Are you going to allow the pipe to just keep flooding your home and go fix your neighbor's house and then come back and fix yours? No. You fix the pipe in your home, and if your neighbor is still having problems, then I'll go help. Am I wrong? It's the same thing. It's the same concept when you're on the airplane. What did they tell you on the airplane? If the mask dropped down, you put your own mask on first so you can get oxygen, and then you assist the people around you. It's basic common sense. But all that goes out the window when we're talking about Democrats. It also all goes out the window. We got to help everybody else before we can help ourselves. Why? Because they put America last. Listen to this from the Communist News Network. On the Communist News Network, they're talking about the money going to Ukraine. Insane in the membrane.
Republicans are furious that he's linking the aid for Ukraine, which has become divisive in parts of Congress, to the aid for Israel. Just one tweet that popped up from Republican Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, he didn't mince any words. He wrote, I think what the president did is completely disgraceful. If he wants to sell the American people on $60 billion more for Ukraine, he shouldn't use dead Israeli children to do it, calling it disgusting. Is this going to be a problem?
It's a problem for J.D. Vance, but J.D. Vance has no moral compass. He's somebody who has sold out his own constituents in pursuit of a cult of personality on behalf of...
y'all hear this? It's the exact same talking points every single time. Listen to this last little bit right here. His response. And they're literally calling us what they are. Listen.
His own constituents in pursuit of a cult of personality on behalf of Donald Trump.
A cult of personality on behalf of Donald Trump. It's President Trump, you idiot. The cult personality. Now, who's drinking the Kool-Aid? Who's trying to force people to drink the Kool-Aid? And they're saying that we are in the cult? We're in the cult? And they're trying to force us to drink the Kool-Aid? How does that work? These idiots. When y'all hear people saying that, look, you're the one drinking the Kool-Aid. You're the one drinking the Kool-Aid, and you say that we're in the cult. You're the one telling little boys that they can be little girls, but you say we're in the cult. You're the one saying that a man can become a woman, but we're in the cult. Make that make sense. They're the ones that's going along with all the ignorant, stupid stuff, but they say we're in the cult. Help me understand that. Which brings me to this. We're in trouble. When you have weak leaders in position of power and authority, weak leaders. They try to prove to the world that they're strong. And what happens when you have stupid, weak leaders? They do stupid things. The verge of taking us to World War III is no joke. It's more so than ever before. A lot of times you hear people saying it's 11:59 for everything to hit the fan, like a minute away. We're seconds, if that, seconds.
How can we, the United States and the West, avoid Armageddon?
Well, that's the question that should be on everyone's mind in Washington, and sadly, it seldom comes up. I think the greatest challenge for Americans, even more than for the Israelis, is to understand just how profoundly the world we live in has changed since the last major war that the Israelis were compelled to fight, and that was in 1973. Some of your observers and audience may remember in 1973, Israel was attacked by the Syrians in the east and the north, and at the same time attacked from the south and the west by Egypt. The problem was that Egypt had very limited goals. The Egyptian president was not interested in destroying or eradicating Israel. He simply wanted to regain control of the territory that had been lost in 1967. So he moved across the canal, set up a defense, and that was as far as he went. The Syrians, of course, did try to break through, and that was somewhat desperate for a period of time, but the Israelis were able to meet that threat first before turning their entire attention to Egypt. This time the situation is very different. First of all, the weapons have changed. The arsenal of rockets and missiles in the region is enormous. People are quoting numbers in the realm of 130,000 rockets and missiles from Hezbollah alone. We don't even need to mention others in the region. That kind of arsenal is enough in and of itself to destroy much of Israel. But then you have a problem with Hamas and Hezbollah and the rest of the region, and that is the rest of the region is as sick of Israel as much of the world, and Europe is sick of us. And what I mean by that is that we are on the threshold of total war. That's what no one seems to understand. If the Israelis march into Gaza, which I think would be a very unrewarding exercise for them, but nevertheless they seem determined to do it. If they do, they will not only lose soldiers, they will fail to root out the thousands of Hamas fighters that are there. They'll get some, but they won't get them all. They will not improve their position at all with the people of Hamas or the people living on the so-called West Bank. And the rest of the region is prepared to go to war. You have to stop and think about it. It's not just Iran. In fact, Iran has militias that can attack us, anyone who works with us in Iraq and Syria. That's one part of the problem. The Iranians are not going to try to lob theater ballistic missiles at Israel because the Israelis have said they would use a nuclear weapon. But Turkey is different. And the Turks have an unhappy record with the Israelis. Just a few years ago, they tried to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. The Israelis boarded their ship, killed some of their citizens, and turned back the aid. This kind of thing did not cultivate support and friendliness in Turkey. And remember, Mr. Erdogan is the de facto leading military power in the Sunni Muslim world. Finally, you have the Pakistanis who are very close to the Turks and have made it abundantly clear that the Turks will receive nuclear warheads and other capabilities from them if they need them in order to deter the Israelis from using a nuclear weapon. And finally, the Turks have the largest air forces and armies in the region. The Turks can put 2 million men in the field in the space of a little over a month. And the Turks are ferocious fighters. Now, all of this spells doom for the Israelis if they launch this attack on Gaza. What I've just described is an unwinnable fight. Even the air power from the United States that we could commit is not going to be enough. And we all know we don't have.
Let me stop it there. Let me stop it there because you know what? He says that it's not, not going to be enough from the United States of America, but the Bible tells us that this is going to happen. If the Bible's not true, then why is it happening? Right? And Israel is going to be there. Israel is going to be there. And it says the bird with the eagle's wings comes to Israel's aid in the Bible.
You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.